Hey guys, Zona Kick here, and this is a gameplay on Lockdown. I go 40 and 10 with the Type 95 Red Dot and Rapid Fire, or it might just be Red Dot at this point. But I'm sorry, yes, I know the Type 95 is cheap, but this gameplay was after I had uploaded my last one, so I was pretty pissed off in Infinity Ward and just wanted to use their flaws in the game, like extremely overpowered guns. And yes, a nerf came out, but all it really did was increase the hip fire radius. So when you zoom out, the crosshairs are bigger. And then there's this little camper coming up right here that just SMAWs me to the face. And there's been a lot of SMAWs lately, or SMAWs, or whatever you want to call them. And I've been being killed by a lot. And yes, I'm also using the FMGs. Once again, apologize for that. But once again, they said, oh, we're going to nerf the FMGs. They took 2 points of damage off. It's still going to kill about the same amount. And I'm pretty sure they increased the recoil, but it's still completely controllable. I mean, if I didn't know they came out with a patch, I wouldn't notice anything different. Like if I didn't follow the stuff. So that's about the gameplay. But the main topic of this video are teachers. And first off, I'm going to start out with good teachers. There's many different types of, quote, good teachers. Some kids will say, oh man, he's such a good teacher. But the reason that they say this person is a good teacher is because they don't give homework, they just waste time in class, and they don't care. This makes me sound nerdy, but I don't like that kind of teacher. I like to learn stuff. But to learn stuff, there's a balance between teachers being an asshole and learning stuff. Because some teachers can teach their kids very well and teach them and get good grades and blah 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 blah, etc. etc. But the kids hate them. I mean, oof. I've had some teachers like that, but if there's a balance between them, that's a good teacher right there. They're hard enough that you have to try, but they are fun enough, I guess I'll say fun enough, that you can still enjoy the class. So, and then there's the teachers that aren't so great. Now, there's a lot of things that make a teacher not great. Being an asshole to the students, which I'll talk about a little later in the video, about a big teacher being an asshole to me. And there's also teachers that just kind of waste the class time. And this sounds so cliche, but the children of today are America's future. So these individuals are impacting America's or other countries' futures in small ways. And so that's a pretty big responsibility to be a teacher. And some teachers don't care. They'll just be like, oh, I want my paycheck. I have tenure, which means that they get to keep their job. And they can act any way they want, and they can't get fired after like 10 years of being there. So, and then there's the teachers that, they care, but they don't care very much. Like, they'll they'll try, I guess, but the students just don't learn anything. And even if you go up to them and say, hey, I'm really not learning anything from your class, and they won't do anything. And when they don't do anything, that's a problem, because they're supposed to do whatever they can to help a student learn. Or they'll give a bullshit excuse about, oh, maybe you should just pay more attention, do your homework more. Well, I've had a few times that I've done all my homework, and teachers have still said that to me. And I've just been like, really? And I'm not one of those kids that text in class. I'll listen to music only if I'm getting like 100% in the class. But some stories about horrible teachers. I briefly talked about this in my concussion video, but I had a guy whose beginning part of his name was Forno, so everyone called him Forno, and he taught history. So I was in his class and it was first period, and this was, I want to say a couple weeks after I got this concussion, my bad concussion, and I couldn't read without getting a severe headache. So in his class, all he taught was by PowerPoints. He didn't really say anything. He had us read the stuff and copy it down, which equaled a problem for me because I couldn't read. So I was talking to my friend before class, and then class started, and I tried to take the notes, and I got about maybe through like one slide, but then my head started getting really bad, so I had to put my head down, and he comes up, he's like, "Britt, why can you talk to Gar, my friend, in the morning, but you can't take notes?" And I'm like, well, there's a little difference. And he's like, "Oh, I don't think you don't care." I'm like, really? And I still hold that against him today. I mean, I cannot get over that. And then there's another story we had a substitute, and the teachers that stereotype kids based on like what they wear or who they talk to. And I had a substitute teacher that just stereotyped me as a jock. And I was like, one day she, like, it was Spanish, and I was like, I don't really care about Spanish. And in the class, she was like, "Oh, you jocks just don't care about school." And I'm like, what? She's like, "Yeah, you jocks don't care about school." I'm like, yeah, I'm not really yeah, I play soccer, but I'm not a jock. Or at least I don't consider myself a jock. So, then she was like, "You want to go to the dean's office?" And I'm like, no, I really don't. She's like, "Oh, I think you do." I'm like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Why don't you just go out in the hall?" And so I spent like the rest of the period out in the hall. And I was just kind of like, well, this is boring. But it beats sitting in class in Spanish, and I just listened to my iPod. Get totally outplayed there. And I tried, and eventually that teacher left to be replaced by just as bad a teacher. But I'm running out of time to talk about that, so. But that teacher, she taught at like the University of England for Spanish, so she was like way ahead of our grade. We were freshmen. And so she like spoke in Spanish the entire time, and we were like, "I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about." And she would always get mad that she said, "Oh, we weren't paying attention, we weren't paying attention." And so she would always get pissed off. So that's my quick story about bad teachers. Hope you guys enjoyed. 40-10, lockdown, kill confirmed, we win the match. And this is Zona Kick, and I'm out. Peace.